KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny shitbags, Donny shitbags, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny shitbags, 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 Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny KrasnoV, Donny. Welcome to another episode of the Apocalypse. Congratulations. Since you have chosen unwisely the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. I am that guide, Nicholas. Take my hand, and I will guide you through the abyss of revelation and apocalypse, just as Dante was guided through hell. Well, it appears, unfortunately, that the cross-eyed freak has been confirmed. The cross-eyed sociopath. I think you know who I'm talking about. What I find most amusing is everyone keeps posting pictures of the cross-eyed sociopath with his eyes covered in red. And the only question I have to ask regarding that, why are you covering his eyes in red? Are you trying to cover the fact that he's a cross-eyed sociopath? Why not just show it? Anyway, let's get this piece of shit started. Let me see. New 19-year-old Doge engineer Edward Karstein turns out to be the grandson of former KGB spy Valery Martinov, who played a role in a sprawling 1980s espionage saga. Well, of course, Mr. Karstein would have KGB in the family, right? Of course he would. I mean, he's only, into all that other crazy shit, which I'll let Jim explain that in his post before I jump all into it and digress away. Prominent Doge staffer is grandson of turncoat KGB spy, Edward Big Balls. If there was ever a dude not to be named Big Balls, it's this dude right here. In the suit jacket and nut shorts. That dude. Nah, I don't think so. That doesn't work for him. Edward Big Balls Korestein happens to be the descendant of Valery Martinov, a KGB agent who spied for the U.S. Sure he did. Man, again, if I wrote this in a novel, the publisher would be like, yeah, a kid right out of high school named Big Balls that follows Elon around like Leon's the Pied Piper or some shit. In charge of government agencies having administrative positions. If I wrote that in a book, son, the publisher would tell me to go fuck myself. He'd tell my mother to go fuck herself for having me. You can't make this shit up, man. God don't play with the apocalypse. I got to give him credit. He's pulling or Satan don't play, however you want to look at it. He's pulling some fucking jokers at his ass, that's for sure. A little runt-ass cunt named Big Balls. A group of young boys who follow Leon around as if he is God. I don't want to know what's going on behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, here's a comment on Doge. Just a random person. Doge is not a cost-saving effort. Well, tell me about it. They already charged us over $14 million for a couple weeks. Don't sound like we're saving money. Doge is a clandestine operation to secure an authoritarian regime beyond elections. Yes, elections will be going away, or we'll be having the kind of elections that they have in Russia, where Vlad wins with like 98% of the vote. Because he's so loved. You can at least make it believable, Vlad. Put it up with 60, 70%. That's almost believable, but rarely happens in any election. Because of, propaganda and brainwashing. But when you put it up at 90-some percent, no politician has those types of numbers. You just don't. There's too much contrived opposition to reality for a politician to have 97% approval. So, it's kind of obvious that Vlad's rigging it up over there. Just a little bit. Just a little, Vlad. Maybe tamp it back to like 89% or something. You know what I mean? Get some of your credibility back. Humans are being replaced by machines. Yes, I posted this earlier. This person gets it. It sounds crazy, but this is where we going. And if you're not seeing it from people like Zuckerberg talking about it, Leon, the contracts going out to Altman, etc. If you're not seeing it, this is what's happening to your world, and it's happening fast. Machines have no individual discretion. Machines are agents of those in power. Yeah. Can you afford to deploy 2 million bots out on the internet to handle your business? No, you can't. You don't have the ability. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the money. You don't have the infrastructure to do that. Guys like Zuckerberg do. Guys like Leon do. Guys like Altman do. Guys like Donny do. Gypsy mobsters do. Public relations firms do. Troll farms do. Vlad does. Trump has always envied Xi Jinping because he has control of his population. That's a quote. Xi uses artificial intelligence-enabled face recognition, cameras, social modeling, and other apparatus to control the Chinese. I knew this 20 years ago. You get a social credit score, a social score as a human being in China. It's pure 1984. I don't know how the people are handling it. I don't think I could. You're surveilled. They have face recognition, cameras. Just it's misery. Okay, all day, every fucking day. There, it is pure 1984. Read that novel, 1984. That's China. That's simple. That's what they want to turn us into. That's where it's going. Was it Kroger or some store started using face recognition? I'm going to tell you right now, any store that uses face recognition, when I walk in their store, I'm walking right the fuck out. I promise you. So I don't think it's going to work as well here. People don't take kindly to that bullshit. And that's going to turn a lot of people the other way. We start looking more and more like China, pure 1984, utterly controlled existence. Russia's a little different. They don't need all the surveillance and money invested in it all and the technology. All they need is their neighbor to call the, local KGB office, whatever they call it now. Just like Nazi Germany, because that's what Vlad is. He's a Nazi, white supremacist. China's a little different. Pure control, 1984. You're watched, surveilled, everything. That's where Musk and Altman and all those others want to take us. That's where we're going. And we're going to a new AI made in Donny's image at some point. And that will be deployed with its new infrastructure or whatever, whatever little bit of infrastructure they had to build, they probably pocketed the rest, I'm sure. That's where your society is going, whether you believe me, agree with me, whatever. That's what's happening. That's where it's going. And yes, it's going to be just like China. If they get their wish, I'm hoping they're in the lake before then. I don't think their whole utopia that they're looking for, I don't think it's going to come to fruition. I don't think Leon's ever going to make it to Mars. I don't think full 1984 in America is going to be fully implemented. They're going to try and take it as far as they can. I don't think they have enough time. Anyway, if you think billionaires are picking billionaires to fix the system rigged to only help billionaires, then you're full-on weapons grade stupid indeed. And guess who wasn't a billionaire? Joe Biden. All you hypocrite motherfuckers talking about the elite deep state bullshit. Joe Biden wasn't a billionaire. He wasn't an oligarch. Donny alleges to be a billionaire for many years. Leon's definitely a billionaire. Definitely an oligarch. I'd call Donny an oligarch in a lot of ways, even though he was faking the funk for a lot of years as far as how much money he had. So yeah, if you think Donny with the gold toilet's looking out for you, Rubes, well, I got 2 new Rubes on here that have utterly regretted their decision to vote Donny. Again, let me just say this, people. We're all adults. When adults make decisions, they have consequences. Again, you thought it was a team sport. You thought you were wise. You thought it was fun to own the libs. Then you lost your government job. Even though they told you beforehand you were going to lose your government job. Leon and Donny. You watched what Leon did to Twitter and you laughed. Now he's doing it to you. Not so funny anymore, is it? Everybody laughed when Twitter's staff got fired left and right. And I had no love for Twitter's staff, believe me. But it was still fucked up. I don't like seeing thousands of people lose their fucking jobs, even if I don't like them. Because I ain't you out there. I take no pleasure in that. Even if I don't like you. I want to see people lose their jobs. Because I know what it's like to wonder where my next dollar's coming from, where my next meal is coming from. You people laugh about it when it happens to the people you don't like. En masse. And even when it happens to you, I wonder, all you people, if we were going to have another election in 4 years, and Donnie wouldn't run, but he's never leaving. He didn't want to leave last time he tried to stay, remember? He's not leaving. It's going to take something extraordinary for him to leave. What the hell was I going to say? Oh, if we have elections in 4 years, which we won't, and Donnie doesn't run, and they put another Republican up in your fucking face, spouting the same old Republican talking points. After you lost your job, your farm, whatever, you still voting Republican, aren't you? Of course you are. Of course you are. The brainwashing is too deep. Just too deep. Speak of the devil, a Trump supporter regrets voting for Trump after getting laid off. Fuck around and find out. Yeah, you were warned for 8 years. And you government people especially, you saw Leon was coming in. You voted for him. Leon promised to cut like a motherfucker, just like he did to Twitter, just like he did to Tesla, just like he did to everything. You saw all that. You saw the behavior of the two men, Biden versus Trump. And you chose unwisely because you either saw something you like or, I don't know, the brainwashing is just too deep. So there's no excuses for you people anymore. And this gentleman, yelling and all pissed off on social media. Again, I told you all these people would come crying on our shoulder as they were laughing in the voting booth, thinking of what Donnie, was going to do to people. They thought, oh, since I'm voting for Donnie, I'm putting my name on Donnie, the beast, the Antichrist. He's not going to hurt me, right? I'm a cultist. He didn't hurt enough of you cultists last time. The plague didn't convince you. And his mismanagement of it. The dismantling and looting of your country happening before your eyes, that hasn't convinced you either. Well, again, here's another person. He had a government job. And I hear a lot of comments from a lot of people. I like what Doge is doing, cutting, blah, 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 cutting waste. But I'm not waste. No, son, you are waste in their eyes. You all are. If they could run it without any of you, they would. And their goal is to have AI run most of it. And I'm sure Leon will only charge a modest fee for that. That's if they use his AI. I have a feeling they're going to use Donnie's eventually. And I have a feeling they're going to roll that out faster than we realize. I don't think it's going to take $500 billion of infrastructure to do it. I think that's bullshit. I think most of the money's going to get pocketed. I think there's already a decent infrastructure for it. But, who am I? So again, this is a government worker who voted MAGA, and he admitted it. I commend you people that at least admit it. At least you're honest. Don't go out there and lie saying you didn't vote for it. I know a lot of you will in the future when this really all is over. If there's any, time on this current version of Earth after it's all over, I don't really think there will be. But, it's sad watching these people because they were warned, and I've been screaming for 8 years, and we have nothing but United States trolls, Russian trolls, Saudi trolls, Chinese trolls coming at us, lying about us, making threats, all kinds of stuff. Because nothing makes the demons' teeth gnash like guys like me talking. Especially me, specifically. Me and the devil have a special relationship. And all his children as well that come here. Because I'm the guy, again, I put knives in the heart of the devil. And I make his children remember my words their entire existence. Like a splinter in their mind, per se. That's me. And, again, here's the face of a maggot who thought they were wise, thought they knew better, even though Leon and Donnie promised to cut a whole bunch of government jobs. They'll be all right. We're just going to switch it all over to private industry and loot the taxpayer. By switching it all over to private industry, that way I can give contracts to all my buddies and we just loot the fuck out of you morons. And jerk offs like him voted for it. And now he lost his job. And we all know how easy it is to find another decent paying job with benefits and vacation time and all that stuff, right, guys? I know everybody in the comments section or everyone in the live or the comments later on, it's so easy just to find another job. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Fucking idiots. Yeah, I know. It's so easy. When you lose your job tomorrow because of Donny or next week or next month, because a lot of you will, whether you're in government or not. Donny Grifton here, you in the way. You're going to be collateral damage. Even some of you people trolling right now. I can't read the comments, but we know what it is at 3 a.m. Come on now. Trump fires the country's senior military officer. And I heard Trump appointed him. I didn't even know that. But let's ask ourselves really why the man was fired. And he was running with a lot of Trump's policies too. Allegedly a Trump appointee. Wonder why he was fired. The answer's right in the picture, in case you're wondering. We have to stop this lunatic. It's seriously now or never. Again, that's not my statement. That's this person's. There's no stopping this lunatic. It's got to play out. Again, you've chosen the apocalypse. Congratulations. Now you've got to live through it. And it's not going to be fun, especially for the maggots. For the people that are persecuted like me, it'll be over somewhat shortly, depending. For you guys, it's going to be long and excruciating. And then it's a visit to the lake. I would not want to be you. A major and long-rumored purge is underway at the Pentagon tonight after President Trump ousts the Joint Chiefs Chairman. Secretary Hegseth fires the Chief of the Navy, the Vice Chief of the Air Force, and he says he's requesting nominations for the Judge Advocates General for the Army, Navy, and Air Force, indicating they'll be replaced. We'll have the latest. Blah. That's a reporter talking. Wow, that's a lot of top brass to be fired, and the legal department as well, the people that say what is legal and not legal in the military. All gone in one fell swoop. What does that tell you, Rubes, about where this is going? Not to a good place. This is Hitler-type stuff. Purge everyone that's not an absolute loyalist. Unfortunately, those loyalists are never qualified. And unfortunately, those loyalists are all sociopaths. Every last motherfucking one, to different degrees. That's what we're going to be dealing with in every department. Where do you think your country's going to go under those circumstances? Dictatorship, that's the only place it can go. That is horrifying what I just read you. I knew the last piece of the puzzle really was the military. They got control of all the money in all the other departments. The last piece they really need full control over is the military. And why do you think that is? To use them against you, of course. The thing you said the liberals were going to do for 40 years? That they never did? Do you realize you were just a useful idiot for Vlad now? Any believers yet? No? Okay. When the wreckage and dust of what these people are doing to our country has settled and the people have finally had enough to throw these jackals out of office, We will never forget the people who enabled it. Despite their protestations, they weren't willing accomplices. Never. Yeah, that's what they'll say. Again, that's if we even have any regular time at the end of this on this current earth we're on here. Ron, and this is Ron Filipowski, he doesn't usually talk like this. So they've gotten Ron to a point where Ron can kind of see what's coming. And even though Ron doesn't have the full perspective that I have, because again, I knew this was going to happen 10 years ago if Donny, and the two things that proved what I was saying in the first 4 years and when I first got on YouTube in 2015 was the head wound thing, the assassination attempt, and him coming back into power. Those two were requirements for a certain entity. And he fulfilled those requirements. Boy, did he. The whole second term is based around the assassination attempt. Merchandise, marketing, publicity, all based on that. Statues, false, what they call golden calves, idols, goats with $100 bills that say "In Trump we trust." Goats. Again, those of us that have sought wisdom, we know exactly what we're looking at when we see a fucking goat at Mar-a-Lago covered in $100 bills that say "In Trump we trust." That's the beast's way of saying he's God without saying he's God. That's the type of things that Satan does. That's the type of things that real Satan worshipers do. Not the idiots dressed in black robes playing around. I'm talking about the real motherfuckers. That's Donny. That's Leon. That's Thale. People like that. They the real motherfuckers. Anyway, when we see us, we who have sought wisdom, and you know who you are, when we see a goat idol, wrapped in $100 bills with Donnie's face on it that says "In Trump we trust," we knows exactly what we's looking at, son. And it ain't funny, and it ain't cute, and they ain't playing around when they make things like that and take pictures of it and put it right in your face. That's intentional. For two reasons. It's desensitization by a certain entity. And, they want to see, are you going to run with this? Are you cool with this? Guess who else wants to see, are you cool with this? God. That's why he puts it in your face as well. He shows you the idols. He shows you the abomination, the blasphemy, that anyone would replace the name of God with Trump in any way, shape, or form. Shows it right to you. Alleged Christians, alleged family values conservatives, alleged patriots. And what do? You laugh. Ah ha ha, that's funny. No, that's not funny. That's what they were doing in the Old Testament. When Moses smashed a tablet. God don't take too kindly to shit like that. He really doesn't. Again, there's a reason you're being shown it. There's a reason so much of Trump's personal dirty laundry has come out. That was intentional. That was a test for you that you fucking failed miserably. That you're still failing. Yes, we are going to remember, like Ron says, none of us are going to forget who you people are and what you did. Because you all were so vocal about it. That's if there's even any time at the end of all this for that. I have a feeling there's not going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be a new world, but not in the way you Satanists are thinking of. It'll be, instead of your utopia, it'll be your fucking ultimate nightmare. That kind of new world. Ukraine was warned of an imminent Starlink shutoff if it did not reach a deal on critical minerals, a source told Reuters. The issue was raised after Zelensky rejected an initial proposal from the U.S. Treasury. Secretary Scott Bessent, and again in talks with U.S. envoy Keith Kellogg on Thursday. So not only did they try and extort them for the mineral rights, part of the extortion, part of the threat was Musk saying, yeah, I'm going to shut off Starlink for the Ukrainians. And that's not the first time. That wouldn't be the first time that Musk has shut off Starlink intentionally to stop the Ukrainians from doing something to Vlad, or Vlad's ships, I should say. People died because Leon made that decision to help his boss, Vlad. Now they're basically saying, we're going to shut it off, and you guys ain't going to have no internet. Internet, I believe you need to operate drones and all kinds of shit. It's very important. It's critical. It's vital, and Musk knows that. That's why he's threatening to shut it off. And I want you to know what kind of cretins we're dealing with. Again, we talk about this like it's no big deal, but I understand the gravity of it. These people, again, are under assault every day. They're living in trenches and basements in their own fucking country because they got Russian pigs and savages in their country killing, raping, kidnapping, stealing, looting, burning shit down, drones running into Chernobyl, putting holes in the fucking dome. That's the devil they're dealing with. So to threaten them in this way or trying to extort their natural resources at a time like this, man, you going right in the lake, son. You just are. I'm sorry. That's just low beyond low. And if your family was going through even half the things that those people are going through on a daily basis, and someone came to you with some bullshit like that, trying to extort you while your family's under attack, you'd be quite upset about that, I'm sure. But no problem doing it to the Ukrainians for Donny shitbags, right? For Donny KrasnoV. Elon posts Russian propaganda as if his life depends on it. You know what I wrote under there? That's Liam Neeson saying that. Because I was just talking about this the other day. I wrote his life does depend on it. Putin is not a forgiving man, and he doesn't care how much money one has. They can still fit through a window no matter how big their bank account is. Even if they're a 7-foot basketball player, they can fit through a window too. That's why Leon does what he does. That's why he's so desperate. That's why South Korean Trump was so desperate. They got mobsters backing them. Once you get in that world where mobsters are backing you, you best come through. Otherwise, you might fall out a window, or you might get your legs broke, or someone you care about might go missing. So when Leon sits there in interviews, I don't need the money. I'm definitely not a paid Russian asset. I think I have enough money. You know what I'm saying? No, son. I don't know what you're saying because I know how the mob works. And if there's one thing Vlad Putin is, the fucking mob. He's the king of the mob. Got Donnie scared of him, got Leon scared of him, got all kind of people scared of him. There's a reason for that. Oh, remember this jerk off? Remember this dickhead? What was his name again? Edward Robert Martin Jr., United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. interim United States attorney. I guess Donnie's testing him out to see if he can be a proper sycophant or not. He seems to be doing a great job sending letters, threatening letters to congressmen. Of course, it's only liberal congressmen, of course. So again, Edward Robert Martin Jr. Let me show you the picture first before I read that, because I posted about it today. And since he likes to write letters so much that have absolutely no legal basis, definitely looks kind of mongoloidy, bit inbreedy. Definitely, this is the big show for him. This is the big moment in his life to really do that evil. I see he's got a really excited look on his face, doesn't it? I noticed that about a lot of you MAGA people that would have never been given a chance in any other arena by any real entity or person. He's another example of that. But let's read about him. Because as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Martin is the head of the new Gestapo. That's what I consider him. And, you know, all this is on Wikipedia. Spouse Carol Martin, Education, College of the Holy Cross, University of Washington, blah, blah, blah. Edward Robert Martin Jr., American politician and attorney from the state of Missouri. Since January 2025, he has been serving as interim United States attorney for the District of Columbia. So this is the guy that has sent out multiple letters. I think I've seen about 3 or 4 of these letters to anyone, you know, of note, usually liberal politicians that say something about Leon. Remember in the letter that I read you yesterday that Mr. Martin wrote in all his pudgy glory. What did it say? I can't remember the point I was about to make again. Sorry. What did it say? Give me a second here. Anyway, never mind. I don't remember the point I was going to make about that. This, again, how many times do you people, how many warnings and signs do you people need in your face before you realize the horror that you have wrought and what's coming, and that you need to turn away now? How many times do I have to be proven right here? And again, I don't want Donnie to be Caesar, but you people sure look at him as that, and you don't care either. And that's the problem. That tells me you never believed in anything, especially the Constitution and the founding principles of this country. Non-monarchy, representative government. That's what we used to have, in a way. Again, this is called Third Term Project. This is a real thing. There's a group of people trying to make this happen. I mean, they had a whole section at fucking CPAC. For Trump 2028 and beyond. Caesar for life. That's what they're trying to say. They even got the image here. I know the rubes are saying, well, as long as a Caesar has an R next to it. Again, that's pure rubery, man. It don't matter what letter the fucking Caesar has next to their name. The concept of having a Caesar is what is wrong, Rube. And you gonna learn that the hard fucking way. I promise you. Forgive me, I'm just going to light a cigarette. Forgive the sound of the wind, too, if it hits the microphone. Third term project, no problem with that, Rubes, because it has an R next to it, right? No problem with the president having a third term. So I guess Obama can run again, right? Against Donnie? Of course, by then, Donnie will have all the guardrails down, which are pretty much down already, and, the election will be fixed from the beginning. But let's say the next election were to be fair, and the Democrats run Obama. He would win in a goddamn landslide against Donnie. Oh my God. It'd be a joke. How would you feel about that, Rube? Wouldn't like it too much, right? Of course you wouldn't. You'd probably kill yourself or, rub shit on the walls of the Capitol or something. Shit, you did that when an old white guy won. Imagine the black guy winning again. Oh my God. People lose your fucking mind. So yes, when you're thinking third term, think Obama. That'll wake you right up. This was cringe as fuck. Donnie did some type of press conference. What is this? President Trump addresses governors at the White House. And for some reason, he had the governor of Maine on his mind. I guess he must have heard her talking or heard what some point she wanted to make. And in the middle of his speech, he literally stops and asks, is the governor of Maine here? And he asks her if she's going to comply with the federal law. And Governor Mills says, I'll comply with the state and federal law. Or is she going to comply with a new executive order, whatever it is? So Governor Mills of Maine says, I'll comply with the state and federal laws. This is this is an address on camera. This is going on. It's cringe as fuck. Trump goes, we are the federal law. You better do it because you're not going to get any federal funds. Governor Mills says, see you in court. And Donnie goes, oh, okay, court, that should be an easy one. And he sounded like an old fucking dementia patient, honestly, when he was talking to this person. It was so fucking cringe seeing on camera, live, a governor tell this orange fuck, see you in court. My God, that's embarrassing for him. Caesar don't like shit like that, man. It was so fucking cringe. And where do you see shit like this unless it's like DeSantis or Donald who want to try and look tough? Two of the softest cunts I've ever fucking seen in my life. This is Noel Castler, the guy who broke the story about Donnie shitbags wearing diapers. And it's true. Noel was right on the set with him during The Apprentice. So he got to smell the stench first fucking hand of your, orange messiah with his shitty fucking diaper, alpha male. Hey, remember when the cult was wearing diapers and trying to make it cool? I wonder if those were Democratic plants. Right, real men wear diapers. Right. Thanks for pulling that up. I appreciate that. Diapers over Dems, because a shitty diaper is better than a Democrat, right? A shitty diaper is better than Social Security and free health care. Shit. I'll take a shitty diaper any day. That's MAGA, baby. That's MAGA. So Noel Castler, in a lifetime of bitch-ass moves, Trump attacks on Zelensky reveal his core defects. He is a coward from a long line of them. A weak man is proud of serving a stronger one. Putin owns Trump. He has, since the Russian mob opened its first brothel, opened in Trump Tower. Fact, he says. That's lawsuit material right there, that man saying fact and stating it so bluntly. And he's been doing it for years. And he never gets a cease and desist. And he never gets sued. That's how scared of this motherfucker they are. And Donny sues everybody. This guy was right on the set. He saw it all. That's why Donny doesn't fuck with him. Reminds me of some other guy who wears sunglasses all the fucking time and likes yelling a lot. Musk now calls for Ukraine to surrender 12 times a day, not just on Twitter, but on podcasts, TV, on stage at conferences. It's a full-time job. Why? And here's Leon's, well, because he works for Russia. Otherwise, he gets his legs broke. Here's Leon. Russia went too far 3 years ago. Now the Ukrainian government has gone too far. Really? Endless death in trenches is wrong, and anyone who continues to push that lacks both empathy and a brain. Here's who continues to push that. Leon. And Leon incites violence in England, in France, here, all over the place. Because he doesn't care. He's looted you for almost $500 billion. And he was worth like 400 billion before that. So he doesn't give a fuck about any of you people. He wants to be king of the earth. That's simple. And serve Satan as best he can. And that's not a joke. Literally. Seriously. So again, here we have the richest man in the world who's looting America and dismantling it. Talking about people going too far. People who are being, again, raped, murdered, looted, kidnapped, terrorized, missiles falling on them every day. Here we have bloated ass, special K ass Leon talking shit from his emerald mine throne. Again, Leon, your place in the lake is utterly secure. Congratulations, son. I am KrasnoV. I think Vlad leaked this shit. I think it's funny it came out now during the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Donny, Vlad, Saudi Arabia. All of a sudden, this KrasnoV shit came out. Ex-KGB. With credentials to prove it. Personally, I'm starting to think that Vlad put this out on purpose just to let the world know, yeah, Donny was mine the whole fucking time, you idiots. You fucking fools. And also to let Donny know, again, because Vlad does this every once in a while. Just to let Donny know, I own you, motherfucker. I can ruin you any second I want to. That's why Vlad puts out naked pictures of Melania every once in a while. It's just to let Donny know, I know you're a turncoat. I know you're a traitor. I know you're a backstabber. I know you're a liar just like me. But I own your ass. Don't make me ruin you, son. That's what Vlad's trying to say. If Vlad's responsible for this, and I have a feeling he is. I have a feeling he gave his permission for this guy to come out. Just a thought, because I know Vlad likes to do this to Donny every once in a while, just to put him in his place, let him know I own you and I can ruin you and do even worse whenever I want to. Don't fuck with me. That's Vlad Putin. That's why I begged all of you not to turn our country into Russia, not to give KrasnoV, the traitor, the keys to the vault, the keys to your military that protects you, the keys to your treasury, the keys to Fort Knox. Leon and Donny are heading there now to loot that shit. I didn't even think about Fort Knox when I knew they were looting the place. But Fort Knox? Jesus. Talk about the foxes in the fucking hen house. You fucking rubes. Donny and Leon laughing all the way, to their safe deposit box with some bars of gold. You know what I'm saying? As you rubes talk shit and still play the stupid game. This is Captain Mark Kelly, again, a former astronaut. I believe he's a senator or a congressman at the moment. Hey, Leon, when you finally get the nerve to climb into a rocket ship, come talk to the three of us. In other words, Leon's been talking to shit about Space Commander, not Mark Kelly, but Space Commander of the space station. I talked about that yesterday. Now Captain Mark Kelly, another astronaut, is jumping on his shit, letting Leon know that you ain't shit. And that's what I said yesterday. I said Leon ain't up in the fucking space station. He ain't getting on the rockets. Fucks he know. You know what I mean? I think the guys in the actual station know what's up. And I'm going to believe them because they don't have a track record of 150 lies a day in service of an agenda, and the agenda always is with Leon, every dollar on earth must end up in my bank account, and I have to subjugate the populace, and I have to fulfill Satan's dream and my daddy's dream and my granddaddy's dream of a Nazi world. So here's Leon. Yes, he does. He is an idiot who publicly attacked me, despite having no idea what actually happened. That's in caps, actually. By the way, your brother claims to be independent, but is just a Dem donor shill. I don't know who the brother is they're talking about, and Mark Kelly's probably talking about a comment that Leon made about somebody else, I assume. But that's what Mark Kelly is commenting on, this comment by Leon. No one publicly went after Leon. Leon is the one who always publicly goes after people first. And they take it for a little bit, and then they decide, oh, I've taken it for long enough, let's just tell the truth about Leon. And that's what the original astronaut, the space, I call him Space Commander, up there in the ISIS, because I love the guy. And he earned the title. He's up in fucking space, allegedly. And he's on the space station, and he's in charge. So he's Space Commander. Leon's, I don't know, Beluga Commander. Leon needs to, get a command on himself to handle his baby mama drama that's all over the fucking place. I guess Trump's special envoy doesn't agree with him that Zelensky is a corrupt, incompetent dictator. Pretty schizophrenic foreign policy. Again, that's Ron Filipowski again talking about Keith Kellogg, who's a special envoy to Ukraine. I don't know where they found this fucking guy, because he's the exact opposite of the whole Nazi regime that's going on in Donny. And he's saying the literal opposite that Hegseth says whenever he opens his fucking drunk ass mouth. So I like what the guy's saying. I just don't understand how Donny hasn't fucking had him whacked yet, or fucking gotten rid of him or fired him or something, because this guy is utterly contradicting the Putin narrative, Donny's narrative, Hegseth's narrative. I don't get it. And this is what Kellogg said. A long and intense stay with the senior leadership of Ukraine, extensive and positive discussions with Zelensky, the embattled and courageous leader of a nation at war, and his talented national security team. That's off script for Donny and the Reich. Is Mr. Kellogg going to get a letter from Mr. Martin? I don't know. He better be careful. How has he not gotten fired yet? He's utterly contradicting the Reich narrative. I don't know. I don't get it. It's kind of this like anomaly. Trump plans to impose 25% tariffs on autos, chips, and pharmaceuticals. So if you work in those industries, I'm sure it's going to go real well for you. I assume the pharmaceutical companies, the chip companies that import that shit, all the car companies that import almost everything, because like nothing's made in America anymore as far as cars go. Hardly any of it. Yeah, there may be some layoffs in the auto industry, in the chip industry, and the pharmaceutical industry if you're importing your shit from another country. Again, we all tried to warn people. The farmers always come to mind when I think of tariffs. These guys watch people lose their farms because they lost China as a trading partner for 4 fucking years. They watch people commit suicide. All of it. They voted for it again. A lot of you. I know you did. And again, some of you are online complaining, crying on our shoulder when you shot yourself in the ass on purpose and you laughed about it. Why should we care? You don't care about us. Why should we care? You made it a mission not to care about. You made it a mission to send people after us. Anybody that, doesn't agree with your whatever you got going, your satanic vision of the world, which is all it is. Has nothing to do with Jesus or patriotism or anything. Just Satan. That's all you're doing. Ah, yeah, the Trojan horse. Boy, is that one of the truest pieces of artwork that I've ever seen. And yes, the Trojan horse is in. The foreign troops have not been deployed yet, but I have a feeling they will be at some point. Because I have a feeling they're going to want other troops to watch our troops as they police us. Because that's where this is going. I hate to break it to you. There's every indicator that's where it's going. And again, the animosity by the public is building by the second. People are fucking mad. I'm seeing comments by people that I've been following for years. They losing their shit. And it ain't funny. Because what it's going to result in is a full-blown dictatorship and a police state and, people with machine guns on corners. And that's going to be your life too, Rubes. Not just ours that aren't in the cult. It's going to be your life too. And I'm thinking more and more every day, the Trojan horse is going to allow an attack on us to really finish the job. Maybe he'll allow an attack on New York. He despises New York now. And it's written in the story, Babylon, the city that all the merchants do business with, destroyed in one day. Utterly, completely, totally. There's no rebuilding it this time. Now the question is, personally, I think it's one of two cities, DC or New York, that will disappear. I'm leaning more towards New York, but sometimes I lean towards DC. So don't be surprised if the finishing blow is Donny and Leon allowing a foreign force to come in. Miss Grimes, one of Leon's baby mamas, I forgot to read these to you. It's only 2 quick comments. And it just shows what a piece of shit Leon is. Because again, this is the second woman in like a week that's begging to talk to him that had one of his children or several of his children. And again, the guys, he just got a $500 billion in contracts, and he's already worth about $400 billion. There's no reason he can't help these women out who bore his children. I'm sorry. There's no excuse. He's just a piece of shit. This isn't some guy working, a regular job, trying to pay child support on 2 or 3 kids. That person, I understand, can't pay sometimes. That makes sense to me. This cunt, Leon, richest man in the world, deadbeat, can't even hire someone. Hey, can you take care of all these women that I've had children with? Can you, communicate with them, see what they need every day? Maybe, make a little report up I can look at the end of the month. Make sure you're not giving them too much money. So here's Grimes. Please respond about our child's medical crisis. I'm so sorry to do this publicly, but it is no longer acceptable to ignore this situation. This requires immediate attention. If you don't want to talk to me, you can please designate or hire someone who can, so that we can move forward on solving this. This is urgent, Leon. Again, this woman had multiple children with Leon, and she has to go on social media just for him to get in contact, or one of Leon's people to get in contact with her. She don't even want to talk to Leon necessarily. That's not what she's looking for. This isn't a lonely girl who wants to talk to Leon here. No, she has an issue with the child, and she needs someone she can call when there's an issue with the child. And she doesn't necessarily want it to be Leon. Here's another comment by Grimes. I'm not giving any details, but he won't respond to text, call, or emails and has skipped every meeting, and our child will suffer lifelong impairment if he doesn't respond ASAP. So I need him to fucking respond. And if I have to apply public pressure, then I guess that's where we are at. Yeah, honey, that's where you're at. Unfortunately for you, and unfortunately for Leon, because it's just another window into what a piece of shit he is, honestly. Again, this is not a normal guy with half his salary missing going to his kids from a prior marriage. This, the richest man in the world, son. Absolutely no excuse for this. Having multiple women within a week or two coming on and say, hey, could you talk to me, or hire someone to talk to me here? Because I have an issue with the kid. And again, the other woman, St. Clair, Ashley St. Clair, I believe is her name. He wouldn't even sign the birth certificate. That's got to feel real good when a child grows up and realizes, oh, wow, my father didn't even want to sign my birth certificate. That's how much of a piece of shit he is. So yes, Miss St. Clair had to go through this whole thing with Leon, and Leon didn't even want to acknowledge that child or her or anything. Maybe Leon should focus on these women he has all these kids with instead of trying to ruin our country and our world and serve Satan. Huh, Leon? Nah. Yes, Trump fired the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, chief of naval ops, vice chief of the Air Force, but they fired the top JAGs in the Army, Navy, and Air Force too. Why would you fire the top lawyers in the military? Gee, I wonder why. That's the part you should be asking out about. It's because you want someone not to tell you no when you want to break the law. That's the really horrific thing they just did. Indeed, they just did it with Hegseth. They did it with Patel, etc. That's why they want only sycophants. Rubes, when you ask the question, Rubes. See the Bobo smile. The fake Mickey Mouse Bobo smile. I just need the lipstick. When you ask the question, Rubes, why would they get rid of all the lawyers that interpret the law and present the law to the people under them and what they should adhere to? Why would they only install sycophants? Because they intend to turn the military on you, son. That's why. That's the only reason. They intend to give unlawful orders. That's why. Those unlawful orders will hurt you and your family too, Rubes. That's after you lose your job because of Donny. You don't understand. This nation's going to utter ruin, son. And it's over. And it's going there at the speed of light. We've got maggot after maggot already on camera every day bitching that they lost their job or they're about to lose their farm because of Trump's tariffs. And he hasn't even instituted them all yet. Wait till they all really kick in. And it just, decimates the economy across the board. And then the plagues start kicking up again. Because you think I'm joking when I say this is the apocalypse? I am not joking, son. I would not be putting this kind of time in on a joke. And again, I don't have to convince anybody of shit. You'll all come to belief over time. On your own, hopefully, it won't be too late for you by that point. Trump plans to. Here's another great one. Trump plans to use military sites across the country to detain undocumented immigrants. So we already got Gitmo with 30,000 that allegedly were going there, and we have no idea who those people are, what crimes they've committed or not crimes they've committed. They already moved the goalpost from worst of the worst to anybody that crosses the border we can throw in Gitmo, which I knew they would, because these camps are not for illegal aliens, son. That's just to get them open. They're for you. If you're a real Christian, a Jew, anyone the Nazis don't like. Why do you think Hitler opened camps? They're doing the same thing. We already have one concentration camp. Now we have two. This one will be in Fort Bliss, Texas. They're going to start off with 10,000 people. That's the literal definition of a concentration camp. 30,000 people at Gitmo. The literal definition of a concentration camp. Miss Levitt said the camp's well underway. Sent 111 troops down there. Again, we see the sea Kyles. We see the concentration camps. We see the brown shirts. We see the Nazi salutes. I mean, and it doesn't faze you people. But that's why they do it. That's why Leon did the salute. It's got to desensitize you. Got to move you slowly into it. Got to make it acceptable. Normalize it all in 2025. Anyone that gives a Nazi fucking salute at the end of a public speech should be utterly ostracized from society, should lose their job, everything, just to make a point. Did any of that happen to Leon? No, we all just moved on. It was a story for a day or two, and we all just forgot that he's the Nazi fucking salute guy. Again, if the Nazi salute and concentration camps don't tell you where this is going, you really think it's only going to be Latin people that illegally come here that are going in the camps? Do people ever build camps just for that purpose? Never. Did Hitler build his camps just for that purpose? No, it wasn't just for Jews. A lot of Christians died in there too. The real Christians. Not the fake-ass Nazi Christians like you. Literally. Whether you consider yourself a Nazi or not, that's what you're taking part in. So the camps are never for one group of people. New groups always get added. Some of you will end up in a camp that voted for him. I promise you. Second camp opened in Fort Bliss, Texas. Of course, Greg Abbott, one of the biggest pieces of shit on the fucking planet. Who, I don't know, maybe because a tree fell on him. And now he's a paraplegic or whatever the fuck he is. He's got a vendetta against the whole fucking world now. And he's right, on board with this Nazi bullshit. In fact, DeSantis and, God, I forgot his name already. And Abbott, they became coyotes. And MAGAs are like, yeah, bust them further into the oh, shit. Do you realize how fucking stupid you people are? You bitched for fucking 50 years. These fucking Mexicans coming in here. We gotta get rid of. Hold on a second. Maybe we just bust them further in. Maybe we do the coyotes' work for them. That'll own them lips. You people are abject fucking morons. You literally became coyotes and shit. Like I said, if someone has set your house on fire, the first question you would ask would be, hold on a second before I put this out. We got to find out who set this fire. Was it a liberal? Was it a Marxist? Or was it a Republican? Oh, a Republican set the fire? We got to let it burn. That is your existence. That is your country now. And you cunts have ruined our country and the entire world based on if there's an R next to that fire, we just got to let it burn. Fort Bliss, second concentration camp. Any believers yet? And oh, hold on. The best part is that concentration camp. I'm not even going to read this. I'm telling you all the good parts anyway. That concentration camp will be a model for future camp. In other words, Abbott is doing Donny the favor of running an experimental concentration camp to really tweak it and refine it and get it right, really get Satan's hand on that shit. That's what Abbott's trying to do, and Donny's trying to do down here in Fort Bliss with 10,000 people. I wonder where the next camp's going to be. Maybe a camp will move into your neighborhood. And they're going to use all the different military bases. And I don't even want to hear people. They've put people on military bases before. Yes, they have, but not with this intention. And not 10,000, son. Not 30,000 either. They did that in prior administrations because of overflow. They ran out of places. This is not what this is. These are experimental concentration camps, literally. And that's the intention. These are Nazis, son. They got the same agenda Adolf did. And if you don't know, you better motherfucking ask somebody. That's where this is going. I promise you. You didn't see the Sieg Heils? You didn't see the brown shirt, Mr. Van Rensburg? You better believe it, man. You better believe it. It's coming to your doorstep. I don't care if you voted for it. Leon scum to be let inside Fort Knox Depository to inspect gold reserves. Thanks, Rubes. The fat-ass South African oligarch gets to go into Fort Knox and loot that too, because you just handed him your country. That's how little you think of yourself, your children, and your nation. So Leon and Donny going to take a trip down to Fort Knox, help themselves to whatever's in there, and then tell us nothing was in there. Way to go, Rubes. Oh, Calvin Robinson, do you remember him? He's the Nazi salute priest that worked for the Anglican Church, who, said the bullshit phrase, whatever Leon tried to cover his Nazi salute with. Guy did the same thing, did the salute in uniform as a priest. An utter abomination that I'm sure the man will not forget. Believe me. Wearing the uniform of God or representative of God on earth as you throw up a serious-ass, sincere-ass Nazi salute. That's Mr. Calvin Robinson. Oh, the FR next to his name, is that for father? Because I would never call someone father who threw up a Nazi salute. All you're showing me is you a 5-year-old who thinks Nazi ideology and a guy with a funny mustache who gassed people was cool. I would never call someone father under those circumstances. That's a fucking joke. So Mr. Robinson is facing some further consequences, it appears. This week, after being doxxed, abused, hounded by the press, sacked, and smeared by the Archbishop. Smeared, you say? I had another battle to fight. My U.S. visa was revoked, but we soldier on. And there's a link to his name and his visa being revoked. So I assume he's probably collecting money. That's probably what that's for. And what did I say he would do after the Anglican Church threw him the fuck out the day after he did the Nazi salute? Well, he become the MAGA priest. He's got a picture of himself standing next to Donald Trump. I don't know if they ever actually met. But yes, the picture is them two standing together, if you'd like to see that. The little circle there. I don't know if you can see the detail. You can tell Donnie, though. That piss yellow fake comb over hair and the orange hue and the horrid red tie. So he lost his visa as well. Was revoked, actually. So Mr. Robinson at least is facing some consequences. U.S. Department of State non-immigrant visa application revoked. Damn. How come they didn't revoke Leon's citizenship or something? I mean, he's throwing up Nazi salutes too. So he wasn't smeared by anybody. And a representative of the Anglican Church, for fuck's sake, as that representative, a contracted representative, he threw up a Nazi salute in front of a crowd. Because he got emboldened by Donnie and Leon. Literally. You know, I'm surprised the diocese or whatever, the Archbishop, wasn't even more harsh in their wording when they got rid of him. I would have been merciless with this motherfucker. Why? Because he's making the church look bad. Fuck him and his reputation. He obviously doesn't give a fuck about that. So they didn't do shit to him. He did it to himself. And Mr. Robinson should have understood the fact that he's not worth $400 billion, so he doesn't get away with the Nazi salute. Leon does. For a guy like Mr. Robinson, he gets his visa revoked and he faces serious consequences. Loss of his job. Loss of the church authority. Leon doesn't have to face that because he has $400 billion. But nice to see some consequences for Nazi salutes, because anyone that does that in public, Bannon, that priest, Leon, they should be ostracized from society. Society has been way too lenient with Nazism. We never should have been lenient with it. We should have been viciously merciless with it and made an example of anyone that promoted it. Be that loss of their job, loss of whatever. Ostracized from society till they repent of it, beg to come back, and say they'll never do it again. This is Leon trying to drum up support as if he's the little guy, the underdog, if you will. Inversion of reality. You watched the Hunger Games and sided with the resistance. You watched Star Wars and sided with the resistance. You watched The Matrix and sided with the resistance. You watched Divergent and sided with the resistance. All right, it's a bit redundant, Leon. You watched V for Vendetta and sided with the resistance. When it's fiction, you understand, yet you refuse to see it when it's the reality you're living in. Wild. Well, Leon's trying to say he's the resistance. No, Leon would be the emperor, but a less cool version. In other words, Leon would be the bad guy in all these stories. He's not the resistance. He's literally what people will need to resist. Leon is the man on Earth. When people talk about the man is holding us down, that's Leon, literally. So no, he's not the resistance. He would be the head bad guy oligarch or whatever. But not as cool as any of the characters in the movies. Leon's way too much of a douchebag cream puff for that. Like he could never be Vader, you know what I mean? He couldn't even be the Emperor. He's like some kind of in-between side villain or something. So for him to put this out, literal inversion of reality. No, what people are going to have to resist in the future is the Reich. Leon, the Nazi salute guy. The people that are firing and dismantling our whole government, cutting our military budget, putting only sycophants in key positions in the military. That tells me they're going to use the military on you. Leon's thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Most people like Leon do, and they never are. They're just cringe douchebags that we all have to tolerate. No one actually wants to be around them. Everyone's counting the seconds so they can get the fuck out the door away from these types of entities like Leon that literally invert reality. And, you know, this again, this notion that the guy with the diaper full of shit, Donny Shitbags, an orange face, and a gold toilet cares about you or can identify with you in any way. Leon trying to paint himself as the underdog who just raped you for fucking almost $500 billion. I mean, it's just so absurd. It's literal inversion of reality. God hates that. Satan loves it. And Leon's one of Satan's children. And he ain't really hiding it. For those of us, again, who have sought wisdom, we see it all over people when they about that. In the upper echelons, I can see it all over them in 2 seconds. Oh, this is Leon talking about the space station again. And I read you his initial comment, but I just wanted to read this. The decision is up to the president, but my recommendation is as soon as possible. I recommend 2 years from now. So again, Leon got mad at the people at the space station. He's mad at the space community now, so let's try and fuck with them, because that's what Leon does. He's got no life. He's got nothing better to do. Obviously, because he posts every 5 minutes, so can't be much going on in the personal life there, Leon. So to review, KGB family. This is about Mr. Korstein again and his KGB family member. So to review, KGB family ran a pedo/KKK connected encrypted file website called Tesla Sexy, was a member of the COM, a cyber criminal ring that includes satanic Nazis who sexually extort kids, and now has the keys to CISA at DHS. We are a crime scene in progress. Indeed, we are. This is the nightmare scenario. These are the Satanists Alex Jones was telling you about for all those years, except they weren't liberals. They were Leon and Donnie. They were Mitch McConnell. They were you. They were Alex. The Nazis, the white supremacists. That's straight up Satan right there. Again, Satan has attached himself specifically to white supremacy in the modern era. And it's obvious, again, for someone like me who has sought wisdom. Because again, you watch those old clips of Hitler giving his bullshit-ass speeches and the formations and the whole thing and the bodies being dumped into the pits, all emaciated and starved. Oh, there's Satan all over that, son. If you don't see it, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you just got a date with the lake. And what this man just said, Jim Stewartson, that's spot on. It sounds like abject bullshit, doesn't it? No, that's your world now. Guys who wear Baphomet crests that throw up Sieg Heils own you now. That's not an exaggeration. That's not fiction. Again, we're all adults. So many adults throw advice out to other people. Oh, you got to make smart choices, adult choices, blah, blah, fucking blah. Yet none of you do it. I can't say none of you, that's not fair. But you get what I'm saying. Let me continue. Trump on the Russia-Ukraine war, it doesn't have of an effect on us because we have a big, beautiful ocean in between. That's Donny on the Ukraine war. It doesn't have an effect on us because we have a big, beautiful ocean in between. Now, that's a comment taken out of context. I'll admit that. I don't know what the context is. It's still a ridiculous statement, no matter what context it's in. That's why I just read the statement, because the context doesn't make it any better, but it might shed some light on it. This is interesting and anonymous, and I've talked about this over the years, where the troll farms actually are, where the bot farms actually are. And I talked about how American public relations firms, as well as Russia, as well as China, Saudi Arabia, it's India, even trolling got outsourced to India. I don't know if you know that. It did, in a big way. And Anonymous, they're computer people. They did a little investigation, and it, pretty much turned out how I explained it to you people. Actually did a deep dive into the troll farm targeting us, not the Indian or Russian one. So they're admitting right there that they know there's troll farms in Russia and India targeting them specifically. I've said this for years again. But the US-based one, and it turned out it's linked to some old Ontario, New York Italian mobsters, which is funny that the mob is now involved with low-tier influence operations. Well, the mob has an agenda too, and they want certain people in power. Vlad's the mob, the Russian mob. He's the king of the Russian mob. But it's just interesting how so many US-based firms or a US-based firm is attacking Anonymous specifically. If you peel enough layers, you ended up with the Rengetta uncles and their little YouTube MMA podcast influencer promotion criminal network. It's the little things. I don't know what any of that means, and I don't really care. What I'm more concerned with is where the majority of the trolling effort and bot effort is coming from against Anonymous, because they're a large account that have a large following. And they hate fascism just like me. So according to Anonymous, the United States is the largest trolling operation coming at them, but they also have an operation in India coming at them. They also have an operation in Russia coming at them. Again, here's another Trump voter. Another one who thought it was cool, who thought it was funny, who thought she was wise. The whole shebang. You all did. That still put your name on this. And none of you are, and none of you were. Wise, that is. Ever. So again, I have to question, when a person has their MAGA revelation and realizes, oh shit, I voted for a Nazi regime and blah, blah, blah. Most of you already knew that. Whatever her reasons are, because I don't even want to hear the stories anymore from you people. I'm just going to talk about whatever quotes are pulled out of it. Because I've done about 2 or 3 of these, more like 8 or 9 of these, and I'm not going to go through every story of your plight individually. Because again, you saw something you liked in Donny. You got 3 opportunities. Again, God showed you the righteous man and the thief. You chose the thief intentionally. You saw something you liked: racism, sexism, authoritarianism, whatever. Maybe you were hoping you'd never see a Democrat president again. Just let Donnie be dictator. It won't be so bad, right? You're going to see how bad it is, son. This woman's seeing how bad it is, and I don't really care what her fucking story is. It's just another example of a person, that a prediction I made. I told you all these people were going to be crying on your shoulder. The person that did not co-sign this, did not put their name on it. They're going to want to come cry to you after they gave your country away as if it was nothing and laughed about it. I'm kind of forgiving. A lot of people are, forgiving person once for doing that, maybe, and turning the other way. Forgiving a person twice for co-signing Donnie, that's harder to do. For three times, impossible for me. I can't do it. I can't have sympathy. I'm sorry. You didn't have sympathy on the people you knew Donnie would go after. He even told you he was going to go after you. If you're a government worker, farmer, business owner, by, talking about tariffs. Leon was right by his side the entire time he was running towards the end there, running for presidency. Leon told you what he was going to do. You saw what Leon did to Twitter, Tesla, etc. You laughed about it. You thought it was funny. This person here. You heard him say, I'm going to round up people. You heard him say, I'm going to lock up people. You heard him say, I'm going to persecute people. You were not swayed. You saw him try and overthrow your government. Steal your classified documents. And you still voted for a traitor. What does that make you? So I'm sorry I don't have sympathy. Here's what someone said. Anyone that voted for Donald Trump is a willing executioner. Indeed, you are. Don't pretend like you didn't know now. The wool was pulled over my eyes. I didn't know. All three times, really? After he tried to overthrow the government, you watched it on TV. You didn't know. No, you're a willing executioner. I can't make excuses for you. I'm sorry. You consciously and willingly voted for a racist, sexist, lying piece of human shit. Yes, you did. And you knew what you were doing when you did it. Choices have consequences, and you must pay the price for your choices. Indeed, that's what you tell everybody else. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, no handouts. All kind of stuff. MAGAs are never void of opinion, boy. They've always got something to say. What's up, Dennis? I don't know if you're still here. They've always got something to say. So what do we say to them now? Well, choices have consequences, son. Sorry. We warned you. We begged you. You laughed. You thought it was funny. You thought it was cool. You just wanted your team to win. You thought you were wise. You thought emboldening a mobster, a con man, was a good idea. A guy with no government experience. A guy who bankrupted casinos. And again, that's just a short list. I could go on for a week. Choices have consequences. You must pay the price for your choices. This is the different time, people. For the oligarchy at the top, for the peasants at the bottom, everybody thinks they just voted for this and they're going to walk away unscathed like they always do. No, son. All the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. Every single one of you is going to pay a price for this. I guarantee it. This is the different time, son. This isn't the normal time where the oligarchy just gets away with it again. And the rubes just get away with it again, screwing the poor, screwing the vulnerable, screwing their own children. Metaphorically, I'm talking about. Screwing them over by making terrible choices for selfish fucking reasons. So you're going to pay the price. Definitely this time. There's no avoiding it, unfortunately. You chose it. You made it happen. And you laughed about it. Never forget that. When it comes to your doorstep, you must pay the price for your choices. You deserve no sympathy, no compassion, no empathy, no respect, nothing. Indeed, well, you had none of that for other people. You laughed when Donny said, oh, I'm going to round people up. I bet Donny didn't go to his businesses and round people up. You laughed when he said he's going to lock Hillary up every 3 seconds. You laughed as they smeared shit on the walls in the Capitol. You laughed as Donny watched it with him and his family on TV and withheld the military. Police unions and policemen, you watched on Jan 6 as MAGA beat the fuck out of police officers. All the police unions and policemen saw that. Guess what they did next time there was an opportunity to vote for that person that literally incited that violence against those officers and then withheld the military while those officers were getting their ass beat. You police saw that. You police unions saw that, and you still voted for it anyway. Going to come to your doorstep too. Doesn't matter if you're a police officer. Sorry, son. Hegseth called Brown unqualified solely because he's black. Then they fired him and replaced him with a white guy, so indisputably unqualified that it requires a presidential waiver. That is what merit means to them. Brown, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff that just got fired today, the black gentleman. That's who he's talking about here. The person they replaced him with, I believe, is his name Cain or something. You can't make this up. Caine, I believe, is the person's name. So a presidential waiver had to be given for the new person because they don't actually qualify for the job. Thanks, Rubes. Hegseth had previously taken aim at Brown. First of all, you got to fire, got to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. No, I don't know, Pete. Why don't you tell me? Why would we do that? What's the real reason, Pete? Could it be the complexion ain't right? That's what I'm thinking it is, Pete. He said flatly in a podcast in November, and in one of his books, he questioned whether Brown got the job because he was black. Well, we know why Hegseth got the job. He's got the right white supremacist tattoos, and he's a Nazi, and he's a white supremacist, and he's a loyalist and a sycophant. Not qualified in any way, shape, or form. Not remotely qualified. So we want to talk about DEI. I mean, was it because of skin color or his skill? We'll never know, but always doubt, which on its face seems unfair to CQ. But since he has made the race card one of his biggest calling cards, it doesn't really much matter, Hegseth wrote. That's a quote from his book, I believe. This is the person replacing him, Cain. So we know why Donny picked him. Oh, I like that. The brother in the Bible that killed his brother. I like that. I like crooked. I like people I can, hold a murder over on and, make them do what I want. I like that. Cain, Caines. I don't know who this person is. Cain's military service includes combat roles in Iraq, special operations postings, positions inside of Pentagon's most classified special access programs. Yeah, sure. Can we be more specific? However, it does not include key assignments that were identified in law as prerequisites for the job, with an exemption for the president to waive them if necessary in times of national interest. What national interest is there? We're not at war or anything. Oh, that's right. Donnie just needs a sycophant named Kane. Seek wisdom is all I can say. Seek wisdom. Here's Ron Filipowski reacting to Justin Trudeau, the leader of Canada. You can't take our country and you can't take our game. Hockey, I assume Justin is talking about. Of course, Donnie wanted the USA to win. And what happened? Canada lost, or excuse me, Canada won the hockey game because everything Donnie touches dies. And there's another example of it. He wanted Kansas City to win the football game. They didn't win the football game. Everything Donnie touches dies. Guess what he's touching now? Can you guess, Rubes? America! That's what he's touching now. What happens to everything Donnie touches? It dies. Ron says, remember when America had friends like a month ago? Yes, that's a great point. Again, I've been talking about this. Within a month, all of our allies hate us. And we've aligned with our enemies. If that ain't Satan's son, I don't know what is. ICE Director Caleb Vitello fired by White House amid upset over low deportation numbers. So Donnie's not happy with the person he picked, I guess, to do the roundups because they ain't rounding enough people. Guess what? When the next guy's under pressure to round up a certain amount, quotas, just like the cop that writes 87 seatbelt tickets, quotas. What happens when there's quotas? Well, people got to make problems where there isn't any, right? A police officer may stop a couple extra cars he shouldn't be stopping to make them numbers, to pay that judge's salary and his own salary. Because what's, 80% of a police officer's job these days? Collection agent for the municipality. That's it. Here we have the trifecta of Nazi salutes. We have Leon, Bannon, and Calvin. What is it, Calvin Robinson, the priest? So we've got a scumbag who never takes a bath, who used to be big time in the magazine and now basically a podcaster. Fresh out the pen for grifting the rubes on the wall scam or whatever. It may have been, what was it, contempt? I can't even remember. Bannon's got so many grifts and scams and lies going on, you rubes. I just can't even fucking remember. I mean, God, he's disgusting. Yeah, Bannon fresh out the pen, another jailbird in the mega cult. You got Fat Leon and Mr. Robinson, the priest. Oh my God. What a fucking nightmare you rubes have wrought. Trump will join Putin in Moscow to attend World War II military parade as Putin plans to celebrate victory over Ukraine. Maybe this is why the KrasnoV stuff was released. Maybe Putin's like, you better show up in fucking Russia, man. I don't know what to say about this, people. Again, all you cunts out there, Russia, Russia, Russia. There's no, yeah, you're all conspiracy. Yeah, there's no connection to Russia. Cracker, he going there to celebrate the downfall of Ukraine. I don't know what to tell you if you can't see he's Russia's bitch by now. But then again, you can't make a man whose paycheck, livelihood, character, psyche depends on believing what he believes. You can't make that man ever see the truth, because if he sees the truth, again, he loses his house, his wife, his paycheck, his car, everything. That person will never see the truth because they don't want to. Here's the problem, Rubes. This time it's coming to your door. I promise. I promise. There's no avoiding it. Doesn't matter where you are, who you are, even if you're that troll in the basement with 97 smartphones in America, Russia, wherever you is, it's still right here. Every single person on earth, especially the rubes. So yeah, Donnie's going to go to Russia and celebrate, hang out with Vlad for a parade to celebrate victory over Ukraine. Now, he's not a Russian asset at all, right, guys? Sure. Whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep at night, son. Okay, I already did that one. Oh, Nick Fuentes again. Had some really nice clips about Bannon doing his Nazi salute. White nationalist Nick Fuentes reacts to Steve Bannon's Nazi salute at CPAC. It's getting even a little excessive for me, Nick Fuentes says. When the Republican Party has become too Nazi for Nazis, you know there's a problem. Look, Nick Fuentes is an admitted racist. Nick in this clip, and I posted it, and I left the link so you guys could watch it because it's fucking amazing. Again, Nick was like, man, I wrote policy literally based on Nazi ideology for what's his fucking name? Yee, that fucking idiot who just wants attention like a small child, Kanye. Nick Fuentes was writing policy for, I believe, Kanye or someone running for president based on Nazi ideology. He admitted it in the clip. And he said, even though that's what I'm about, and I'm Nick Fuentes, the racist, he didn't say it, I'm paraphrasing. These Nazi salutes are even making me uncomfortable, and it's a bit excessive. My jaw dropped. And Nick did the same thing he did in that other clip the last time when Leon did his Nazi salute. He's like, wow, Bannon did a straight up salute. And again, I might like the guy if he wasn't a total fucking sellout racist, whatever he is. He can be funny at times. And here's the thing, Nick's kind of dangerous as a commentator. So you better be careful, Leon. I hope you give this motherfucker his money back because he's taking shots at you people. And he's doing it well. So again, Nick Fuentes even saying that Leon's thing was a Nazi salute. Bannon's thing was a Nazi salute. So if racist ass Nick Fuentes is saying it, he would know what a Nazi salute looks like. If anybody would. So again, it ain't this Nick saying it. It's this Nick saying it. This motherfucker. Laid off IRS employee said he had voted for Trump. I thought that someone with his business acumen would have come in with a fine-tooth comb and actually found it instead of coming in with a wrecking ball. Let's read his comment because it's just wonderful. This is the thing about you cunts in the MAGA thing. I can't be waste. I'm important at the IRS or whatever job I have. When they say waste, they don't mean me. No, son, they do mean you. They don't need your constituency anymore. You've already given Donnie the Caesarship, and they don't ever plan on giving it up. And if them fired all the top brass in the military and the lawyers too don't tell you what's about to be coming, son, I don't know what will. Dictatorship, Nazi style. That's what's fucking coming. And the signs, the glaring road signs couldn't be any more clear. No matter how much you want to deny it. So again, you all have this attitude. I've noticed so many people that are right-wing politically. You know, they're 40-something, they're 50-something. They have a decent job. They got a nice little house, nice little car. They think they are so integral to whatever they're doing for a living, and absolutely none of you are. Everyone's replaceable these days. That trend got set a long motherfucking time ago. Even CEOs get fucking axed, any second. No one is critical. Everyone's expendable now. Especially to the Reich. They trying to loot here. They trying to grift, son. You in a way. So when you sit there and make statements like, I was all about these cuts and finding waste at first, but then they cut me. Why do you think you ain't waste, son? Of course you is. If the man in charge says you is, that's all that matters. But again, you elitist cunts have it in your mind, and you have no reason to think this way. Because you don't impress me in the slightest. All you have been your entire life is the hand of Satan, who made this Nazi movement happen. And now you're crying when the Nazi movement, the grifters, the looters, the dismantlers. How you doing today? Here's a layoff notice. Have a nice day. I voted for you, though. I don't give a fuck. That's what you're dealing with. Let's read his little statement here. You know, when he talks about government waste and all that, yes, I'm behind it. Really? How behind it are you? Oh, that's right. You didn't consider yourself waste. Well, I do, and so did Donnie. Sorry. Leon did too. Sorry. The Hitler Youth did too. Sorry. You voted for it. Isn't this what you wanted? You wanted MAGA Utopia for Donnie and the boys? You got it now. Good luck in the unemployment line, son. I won't read his name. I believe there is a lot of stuff in the government that needs fixing, including you, son. They did fix something. They fixed you. They saw you as a problem, and they fixed it by firing your fucking ass. And that's part of the reason why I actually wanted to work for the government, to help change the things that are wrong in the world, I thought that someone with his business acumen, again, business acumen, he inherited $400 million, got a small loan of $1 million, was on salary at 8 years old. For tax purposes, of course. Not because his dad loved him. He had no business acumen. He's laundering money after he lost all his. Because he's a horrible businessman. All he was a daddy's boy. He didn't know how to do anything. He didn't know how to run a business. So he had to turn to the Russians. They've owned him ever since. So there's no business acumen, son. See, you're misguided right there in your notion. Why? Because you saw him on The Apprentice saying you're fired? Is that what you're talking about? You fucking rube. That was called reality TV. That's not real. I thought that someone with his business acumen would have come in with a fine-tooth comb and actually found it, instead of coming in with a wrecking ball and destroying people's lives for no reason. Well, wait a minute. You said they wish they came in and found it. The waste, the fraud, the excess. Well, that's you, son. You got what you wished for. They came in and they found it. The waste was you. How does it feel? Wouldn't have been no problem if the waste would have been only other people, right? Fuckface? Right, traitor to your country? And let me guess, next election, if we ever have them, which we won't, But let's pretend we're going to have another election and Donnie's not running and they put up another Republican. This cunt would vote for him. And everybody knows it. Brainwashing, stupidity. Again, inversion of reality is any maggot thinking they are wise. You are inverting reality when you say it or think it. Because again, you're naught but the hand of Satan who's ushered in a Nazi movement. Now the Nazis. How you doing, sir? We came to look for waste in your department, and we've decided that you are waste. But I voted for you. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to loot here, son. You in the way. Fuck off. I'm trying to dismantle America for Vlad and myself because I'm pissed. And I'm the beast. I don't give a fuck about you or anybody. I give a fuck about the grift and looting, son, and serving my master. That's all. None of you rubes ever meant a damn thing. So again, you have a totally elitist attitude like, I'm all on board with what you guys are doing. But I never considered myself waste. Guess what, son? You waste too. Just like all those people you think are waste. You thought it could never happen to you. You thought you were too valuable. You thought you was too skilled, etc. Nope, none of that was ever true. Not for a fucking second. And anyone out there who thinks that, never true. Anyone can be gotten rid of in half a second. You just go find someone else to do it. That's all you got to do. So this is a beautiful experiment, a psychological lesson that a teacher could teach to people. How someone can hear their demise being spoken to them out loud. We're going to go in and cut the shit out of the government. That's what Leon and Donnie said. This is a government employee. Oh, wow, you're going to go in and cut the government down by trillions? And I work for the government? Let me vote for you because I got to own the libs. Even though you just told me I'm waste and you're going to cut me in advance. And then you asked for my vote. And this dumbass voted for him. And now he's still, even at this point, when he's lost his fucking job, he's still on the MAGA teat. Or tip, should I say. Saying, Donnie, I was down with what you're doing, finding waste, but you came in with a wrecking ball. Why was it a wrecking ball? Because you got fired specifically? That makes it a wrecking ball instead of a fine-tooth comb? Because you think you're worth something. You think you're worth something more than the others that got fired before you. No, son. You're the same as any of them. You're no better. You're no worse. You are an idiot for voting for your own demise when it was spoken out loud before you, but brainwashing, team sports, and people thinking they wise. And people thinking it's funny. And people wanting to own the libs. That's the path you all chose, those of you that co-sign this. Especially if you were a government worker. Oh my God, never. If I was any kind of ethnic minority, never vote for Donnie. Nazi, white supremacist. Why the fuck would I do that? A non-rich person? No point. You're just wasting your vote. You're screwing yourself. And you're all going to learn that the hardest of hard ways. That gentleman just did. I'm sure it'll really be easy to find a new job. And the Dow went down like 40 some points today because of Donnie's tariff announcements and shit. So I'm sure there's going to be just plenty of jobs. coming out on the internet, right? And everybody knows every single job on the internet is legit. No one's already taken it. They all exist. Everybody knows it, right? It's so easy. Just send that resume in and get that next job. Just like that. After you've been at this other place for 15 years. Here's Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes having a little battle. And I guess what I forgot to say is, Leon, you probably shouldn't have taken the money away from Nick. I don't see a blue check mark on Nick's account here. That means you took his money away. That means Nick going to be taking shots at you. And guess what? Nick's way better at it than you. And Charlie Kirk and all your, minions. So here's Charlie Kirk. Again, potato and gums. That's what I call Charlie. Total sellout, total traitor to his country. Trump deported 37,000 people during his first month in office. Huge, especially since border encounters have plummeted, which are the low-hanging deportations and artificially inflated Biden-era numbers. These are hardened, violent criminals. He's laying it on a little thick there. And he's basically admitting Biden has higher numbers, but those numbers are padded. No, they're not. God, you people are so fucking pathetic. And there's Nick Fuentes rushing in to save the day here. Biden's monthly average was 57,000 deportations per month. Do better. I've seen this information for the past few days. Biden has deported more people than Donny per month so far. Donny's only been there for a month, but that's where we at. That's why the ICE guy got fired. So we got to up them numbers. That's dangerous for America. That means they're going to be grabbing people that they shouldn't be grabbing to get to a certain number. Fucking dangerous. So yeah, Nick's getting some shivs in on some motherfuckers. Nick Fuentes here. He just killed Charlie, metaphorically. I already did all these. I'm trying to see what the next one is. This is interesting. This is one of the last things I found tonight. One of the top military officials fired tonight is Lieutenant General Joseph Berger, the top legal official for the Army. This would be the key officer who would advise on whether orders are legal. Again, people, this is going to a really bad place. That's all I have for this evening. When they tell you they're going to Fort Knox, the game is over. When they fire all the military leaders in key positions and they put Kosh, the cross-eyed sociopath Patel, in charge of the FBI, it's over. When they open not one, but 2 concentration camps for a total of 40,000 people so far that we know of. God knows who these people are, of what they've done. All we'll get is vagaries. It's over. When Leon's throwing up Nazi salutes, Bannon and a priest are throwing up Nazi salutes in public, it's over. America is over. All of our allies fucking hate us. We're being dismantled and looted as morons, trolls are wasting their time. And people want to debate and say what's legal and not legal. While you're all doing that, you're being dismantled and looted. That's simple. And again, it doesn't matter if you agree with me as the thief's running out the back door with your safe. Do you get that concept? And just because you don't want it to be a Nazi movement, or you don't want the liberals saying it's a Nazi movement, won't make it a non-Nazi movement. And just because you want it to be so, you want the liberals to be wrong, you want to be right. It's not going to stop this. You are the waste. You said you wanted us to find waste. You are the waste. You come with us. We got quotas for people we got to deport and throw in camps. Otherwise, Caesar is not happy. That's literally where this is going in the real near future. The next guy they put in charge of rounding people up is going to make sure his numbers are higher. What if they grab one of you out there? Who would give a shit? Who would know? Who would care? Who would be there to rescue you by the time, you make it to Gitmo? Hopefully before you make it to Gitmo or Fort Bliss or wherever the next concentration camp's going to be. And hey, these are already military bases, so, very minimal camp building required. You already got the guys with guns there. The concentration camp guards. Again, I think I'd have to get myself thrown out the military or something. I couldn't take part in this. I'm sorry. And when that mark comes around, I'm not taking part. And that's deadly fucking serious. I am not you people. I am not afraid. I'm more afraid of what happens to me if I take that motherfucker. And if I jump on Team MAGA. Team Satan. That's what I'm afraid of. Because I know where the real wrath is, son. So again, God has shown you. I have shown you. Many have shown you. Are you swayed? Concentration camps. Sieg Heils. Multiple now. Now we got 3. One by a fucking priest, for fuck's sake. 2 concentration camps. 1 brown shirt. 1 head of Gestapo, Mr. Martin, the U.S. attorney for D.C. One fat, bloated South African oligarch throwing up Nazi salutes, who has an office in the White House that he paid $230 million for, got 2 contracts so far, worth $440 billion. You got jack shit. I don't know. If you're not swayed by now, I wonder what it's going to take to sway you. But don't worry. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Because you in that time they talked about for over 1,000 years that they always thought was coming, you there now. It's going to get so bad, I can't even fully describe the horrors. Again, we're all just going about our lives as motherfuckers are throwing up open Sieg Heils in front of crowds in 2025. One of them the richest man in the world, one of them a priest in the alleged Christian church. One a scumbag used to be like chief of staff or something back in the day. I forget what he was, Bannon, other than a scammer. And Bannon really wants to get back in there again. He really wants to be Leon so bad. The camps. I tried to tell people that he was the AC. They knew better. Now it's the end of America, the end of our world, the end of everything we care about will come to an end. Because a small segment of society chose to be Nazis and chose to put their name on Nazis. That's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? Whatever. It all ends at the lake. And, I hope as many of you as possible are on the right side of the lake and aren't going in. But a lot of you are going in. I'm sorry. It's what you chose. I'm very sorry for you. But until you take that mark, you still got time to turn away. I hope some of you do. I hope I can help make that happen with at least one person, or at least, at the very least, guide some of the good people through it. Because I know some of you are scared and you don't have nearly the full understanding that I have. So hopefully I can at least help in that way. Anyway, until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.